All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our coach info call. We are so excited to share with you today because we're actually going to do something a little bit different. We're just going to have like some girl chat. We're going to talk about, so all of us on this call just came back from our annual Coach Summit event, which if you were following along on our stories, you may have seen some of the fun we had. Some of the work stuff that we got to dive into in the trainings. So we thought it would be an awesome way to just come in here and share some of our experiences. Some of us were there for the very first time. Some of us, it was like, it was my 7th summit, my 5th in-person one. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to hop in here, share some of our experiences, a little about our own stories so that you can just kind of relate to and learn more about what it's like. And then we'll chat about like what it's like to join our team and kind of next steps if you're interested in the business. So let me introduce myself quickly. My name's Alana LeBlanc. I've been coaching for 7 years. I have a husband, Dave, 2 boys, Cole and Chase, who are 9 and 11. I live a little north of Boston, used to work in human resources and left that job, oh my gosh, 5 years ago, to coach full-time now. So this business has been an absolute blessing for my family and I. It's changed literally like everything about our lives. I can't even single out one thing that it hasn't changed. So let's talk about Coach Summit. So my very first event I went to in 2016, I was a year into the business, I say, but I wasn't really building a business yet. I was just kind of like that shy, quiet, hiding in the background person, like too nervous really to tell anyone that I was even in network marketing because I had my MBA, I worked in the corporate world, and I was like, this is embarrassing. I don't want to tell people that I'm doing network marketing. And I didn't really have full belief in the business, to be honest. So I was kind of hiding behind the scenes, and the summit the year before was like a month after I signed up to coach. So I was a year into the business. I didn't know anyone on my team. I had joined like a bigger team in the network. So I didn't personally know anyone. And I was like talking to my husband one day and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know anyone. Like, I'm not the kind of person to hop on a plane and travel alone. And he looked at me. I remember we were driving in the car and he looked at me and was like, if you're serious about this business, it's not even a question. Like, you need to be there. So sometimes you need that voice of reason, that little push of tough love, especially me. And I was like, oh, okay. So like, all right, I'm grateful that I had that support from someone who saw like and believed in me before I even had really done much with this business. So booked a ticket, was thinking about booking my own hotel room, and happened to have like an acquaintance that I'd gone to high school with. I hadn't seen her in almost 20 years. She was more of kind of just a hobby coach that was doing the business, and she was going to be there. And I asked her if she had room in her hotel, and she did. And I was like, perfect. I'm not going to get datelined, and like people will know if I come home at night. So I went to all the events by myself. She was off doing her own thing with her team. I took Ubers by myself. I sat in the back of the stadium and I listened and I learned and I soaked it all in. And what resonated with me the most were a couple of things. Number one, all of these people were just like me. Like, they started out scared and nervous. And, depending on your personality, some people loved the idea of being up in the spotlight. For me, I was kind of like, oh my God, that's kind of scary. But I sat in the back of that stadium and I remember our CEO saying, you need to commit to being here a year from now. Like, if you look around, I think there were 25,000 people at that event. He was like, probably 20,000 of these people won't be here in a year because they see the glitz and the glamour and they want it all overnight, but they're not willing to put in the work to get there. They're not willing to play the long game. And I kind of looked around and I was like, I'm going to be here next year. And I saw girls like showing up and hugging each other and they all knew each other. And I'm like, I'm going to have that. I'm not going to be sitting by myself in the back of the stadium. So I just figured out, I got to work. I figured out what I had to do. And I went back this year. There were, I think, 10 of us from our team in total. And we had a blast. Like, we had so much fun, but we also worked. Like, we sat in those sessions and we took notes and we learned and we soaked it all up. I remember my first summit, I saw people getting dressed up for like an 80s themed party. And I was like, what are they doing? Like, I didn't earn that. What is that? So this time around, we were all at the earned parties. I got to walk across the stage a few different times, one for like personal goals in my own business, and a second time for representing my team as a leader for different milestones and accomplishments. I got to watch Chelsea cross the stage. I got to watch another coach on my team, Christy, walk across the stage. And it's just amazing to know that we can mentor and help these women like rise into their potential and walk across this stage proud as heck about what they've been able to do in this business. So me personally, like, that's still a little bit scary for me, getting up there and knowing, I think there were 16,000 people at this year's event, like knowing that all eyes are on me. I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, I like to just get to work and like do my thing. But I do like getting up there because I know it's a representation of what I've been able to do with my team. And it like signifies growth on the team and that these women are like rising and growing and we're all doing it together. I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I'm going to pass it off and let someone else talk. And then I'll jump back in if there's other stuff that I think of that I didn't talk about yet.
All right. Yeah. So I'm Chelsea Defina. I am under Alana. My coach is Christy, who is under Alana. So for me, this was my second in-person summit. My first one was 3 years ago. Same as Alana. I was probably coaching 4 months. I was honestly just doing it to pay for my product because I was losing weight. I set a goal of losing 60 pounds. So I was on my way of doing that. I think at that point I had lost 50. And I had earned a free ticket to Summit, which was, signing a certain people up, which was 3 people a month for me. And same thing as Alana, I told my husband, I'm like, I am not going to this. Like, I don't know anybody. I'm an introvert. And he said the same thing. He's like, no, you earn this, you need to go. Financially, we weren't in a position where I could go, but I made it happen. I remember putting, the flights on a credit card. My best friend went with me, so we split the cost of a hotel room. We weren't right in the downtown area where everything was going, so we were a little farther out just to get cheaper rooms. But same thing, we sat up at the top of the bleachers. I met Alana for the first time. She welcomed me in, and just sitting there, I kept asking her questions. Like when I would see these people walk across stage, I'm like, what does that mean? What do I have to do to get there? Like I was literally so mesmerized that certain people, like the top coach that year had said, right before she had said yes to this program into coaching, she had contemplated suicide. And she was in a very, very dark place. And I resonated with her because there was a point in my life where I had attempted suicide. And I know what it's like to be in that very, very dark place in your life. And to see her standing on stage with 50 of her coaches standing behind her crying, and she's beautiful and glorified and all this stuff. And I said, you know what? I want that. So I'm asking questions like, how can I do this? And then I committed. I said, you know what? Next year, I'm going to walk across that stage. Next year, I'm going to have my own people with me, and that year I would have walked across the stage, but we had COVID hit. So it was virtual. But here we are, Alana and I walking across the stage together, committing to a goal. And honestly, the growth that I have had as a woman over the last 3.5 years of coaching trumps the financial, trumps everything else. It is having that confidence to walk across the stage and be like, yeah, me and my team did this. We said we were going to do something and we did it, and having that confidence. And I remember like my first summit, I didn't make eye contact with people. I was so intimidated by the prettier girls or the whatever. And this year, I felt like I belonged. I felt a part of, the movement that we are making to end obesity and all the things. Like, I know that my team and I had played that role, and having my coaches with me was such an incredible feeling. These women are changing their lives because of my one decision to say yes and to move past fear. Was amazing. We all got a room, and we were right next to each other. Alana and I, we had our coaches in our room with us. We went to dinner. We won the event. We won the private events. We danced with the trainers. We did all this stuff. Like, it was super fun. And I just think back to before I said yes, I was waitressing every night, not tucking my kids into bed, hustling to make an extra $10 tip, and exhausted, burnt out. And my husband texted me and was like, after he saw the video of me walking across the stage, and he was like, he's not an emotional person. Okay. He never cries. And he was like, literally started crying because he saw the growth in me. And that was like the aha moment of like, wow, 3.5 years ago, I told her she wasn't going to stick with this. And here she is walking across the stage, making as much money as I am and really showing up. And that for me was like you know what? We look at what we're doing here. Like, I just can't imagine if I had ever said no. So I don't even know if 7 years sober, 3 kids, 1 year, 5 years, 6 years. I started this business with 2 little ones. My husband had just relapsed. We had zero money. I wanted a way to be able to provide for my family and be okay if anything were to happen again. And here I am. So that's a little bit about me. Jared, tag, you're it.
Okay, so my name is Jerry Lantola. I am a girl mama of 2, and I am underneath Chelsea. I started coaching, started my journey about 2.5 years ago. Very shortly into it, decided Chelsea had reached out to me. I was feeling so good, feeling amazing. And she was like, have you ever considered doing what I do? Totally did not to begin with. I am, first thing in my mind is, oh, I can't sell things. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like having all the limiting beliefs. And shortly into it, I was like, my God, this is the most incredible thing I have truly ever invested in myself. And to have women under you and join you and see like how the lives that are truly being changed by the entire thing was just incredible. And I knew I needed to go full force into it. So here I am 2 years later into my coaching. And this was actually, so again, like Chelsea mentioned about Success Starter. So 3 months into my business, I had also earned myself a ticket to Summit. Unfortunately, with COVID, I wasn't able to go that year. It was supposed to be in St. Louis. And so instead they did like a little mini summit in Pennsylvania that I was able to attend with Chelsea. And here I go into this little mini summit in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, wow, this is the most incredible thing ever. Like I was so excited to go to this mini summit. And like, I was like, wow, this must be it. Like, this is everything. We were watching the speakers on this big screen and doing a workout together. And I just thought that was it. Like, this is everything. Little did I know what I was actually missing going to a real summit. Like this summit that we just came from was something I had no idea really what I was walking into. Because again, I was comparing it to the one in Pennsylvania, but freaking the most incredible experience I've had in my coaching career, honestly. So I've attended trips through the business. I've attended mini retreats that we've had, but this was something so life-changing for me. Like to sit back, I am somebody that gets major FOMO if anybody else is like that. So I was sitting there in the crowd with, Chelsea and Alana below us, and we couldn't sit with them because they were this special like category that we weren't quite at yet. And I'll be honest, I was sitting up there like, oh, heck no, I am going to be there next year. Like that's going to be me down there. I'm not sitting up in these bleachers anymore. Like I need to be down there. And so for me, it was like a major moment where I was like, you need to get it together and do this stuff. And it can totally be you. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, it can be you no matter what. Like there is nothing that separates Chelsea, Alana, top coaches. There's nothing that separates them from other people, other coaches, other than the actions that they took to get themselves there. So it really, for me, was just like a aha moment. Like, wow, I sit back and I think these people are like these famous people. And that was something like that truly hit me that a lot of the coaches, the top coaches talked about, like, we're no different than you, right? Like they're no different. They just did the things they had to do to get them to where they are. So, and it's not easy. It takes work. And I think that's what scares a lot of people away. A lot of times is nobody really wants to do the work. But when you do the work and you do the things, like to see what comes from it is so incredible. So I know for me, I made some sacrifices to be able to attend Summit this year. I'm a single mom of 2 girls. I don't have a huge source of income coming into my house. It's just me. I'm a hairdresser full time. I, had to jump loops and hula hoops and whatever to get people to watch my kids while I was gone and do all the things. But I did it because for me, making that sacrifice, I mean, so what if I have to eat pasta the next week? I don't care. Like, I just am willing to do that because for me, that making that sacrifice and being able to be there, I can tell you I would do it 10 times over. Like I would never, ever miss this event ever in my life because it was truly something that I needed and changed me. And I think that, it just comes from the energy and all the things. And, most people don't even allow themselves to experience situations like this and to sit back and think like, wow, this is our business. This is what we get to do every day. These are the people that I get to surround myself with every day. And, like Alana said, 16,000 people, like who doesn't want to be around that? Who doesn't want to feel that? It's incredible. It's inspiring. And being able to be a part of it. Like I know next year I will be walking across that stage, holding hands with Alana, Chelsea, all my girls and doing the same damn thing. Cause I am so fired up and so excited to be a part of it. Yay. And I'm keeping it short and sweet for you guys. If that was short enough.
Good for you. Yeah, that's good. All right, Steph, that was your first summit too. You are how many months into coaching now?
So hello, I am Stephanie. I have been coaching now for, what month is this? 7. So I've been coaching for 8.5 months. I started in November. kind of like a unique form to the coaching industry for us and our group. I actually signed up with Chelsea. So Chelsea's my mama coach. Jerry's my little sister. I got my great grandma Lana over there. But I signed up a couple of years ago. I'm active duty military, so fitness has always been something very big for me. And I got pregnant with my first child. I only gained 30 pounds, but I started off that pregnancy a little bit heavier. And I was desperate to get my body back. And, that's where I thought my happiness came from. So I reached out to Chelsea, saw her on this amazing journey, and I signed up. Never pressed play once. A year later, where did I find myself? Pregnant again. Actually, a year later, I wasn't pregnant yet. I was in a horrible situation with my daughter. And if there's a time I needed this community and personal development, it was then, but I wasn't accepting it mentally, if that makes sense. And then I found myself pregnant again, and I said, you know what, enough is enough. Re-signed up and never pressed play again. I think maybe 3 times. And I sat back and watched all these amazing women have this phenomenal transformation. And it threw me into more depression, because I'm like, why am I giving up on myself? And then finally something happened in November, and I said, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I need to full-fledged coach. And I made that decision. And that first month, I signed up halfway through the month to start coaching and everything. I hit Success Club 10 that first month. I was working out every single day, and I was on board, and I had a great success ever since, which brought me to Punta Cana for the Success Club trip with Jerry. It brought me to in-person events when I'd come home, because I'm in Florida and everybody else is up north, to now reconnecting at Summit, which was, if you can have people talk and literally slap you in the face with all of the goodness, that's literally what Summit was. We were on day -1, and I was like, all right, I got everything I needed. Let's go home and get to work. Like, it is amazing. It is truly inspirational. And I'm going to cry because I'm so proud of every single woman on this screen right now. But you sit here and you work and you bust your butt, and we have conversations, and you hear these women talking about, being premier or being elite or where they're ranked in the business. And you're like, oh, I'm not too far behind them. I can get there one day. And our team is so strong like that a lot of us were not that far behind. But to sit here and watch Alana and Chelsea be so close to walking that stage with only 250 other women that got to hit that business goal in their career, this was my eye opener. Like, I'm so proud of that for them. But to see how many other people are out in that audience, to see how many other people are in that business, to know that we have come so far and we have a team of the correct support system and teaching us the right way and guiding us to success. It's impeccable. It's unbelievable. Like, we are going to be walking that stage next year. I don't know if there's going to be people in the bleachers unless they're brand new to our team. That's probably going to be it. Like, this is a successful team. This is a way of having a successful life and bringing hope to our world, our generations behind us. Like, I'm pregnant right now. I was a girl mom, but I'm pregnant with a boy, and I get to stay home with my kids every day and work on my business. And they get to see what hard work and dedication is, because next year my kids are going to be watching on that TV at home with their father, because this is my girls' trip. And they're going to be watching me walk across that stage. And it's going to be the most proudest moment of my life. And it's all because of being on this team.
Oh, I love
Sorry. Well,
So
now you have me crying. I just have to say too, like, little backstory, like we all didn't really know each other. I think Geraldine and I were enemies in high school. Stephanie and I partied back in the day, but that was it. Alana and I total strangers, you know, like we weren't like, I know people are like, oh, I want to be part of your friends. Like, I don't, you know, this is how we became friends, was through this business. So like we get to attract people just like us. And if you met Stephanie when she first started 3 years ago, like she wouldn't be hopping on a call speaking that fire energy right now. Like the coaching is what made her this woman. Like we could sign up as a challenger, we can lose weight, we could feel amazing, but where the real change happens is when you plug into this coaching community and you learn what you're really made of. Like you get to push yourself past your fears and your limiting beliefs. You get to connect with women who have done it before, you know, like Alana showed me the way. I'm showing them the way. They get to show their girls the way. And that's the beauty of this business. I know Jared mentioned how people don't want to put in the work in this business, but I was so easy to go wipe spit off of plates when I was waitressing, you know, because I wanted to make 10 extra bucks. Like you can literally pour into this business and down the road, like, because it is not a get rich quick. You won't make $1 million off the jump, but you will pay for your product and some groceries. But down the road, have a vision for the life that you want. I know for my husband and I, we were drowning in debt from, you know, when we were trying to get sober. And my goal, I put up on my vision, like, I want to be debt free. I don't want to be suffocated by this debt. And I set a goal and this business gave it to me, but I put in the work, you know, and how my kids don't even really remember me waitressing. Like they don't remember that I didn't tuck them in. Everything that I do now forward, they're going to remember, and they remember mommy gets to be home. Mommy gets to pick them up from camp. Mommy gets to show up at their Olympics. Like that's the power that we have. We have the flexibility and the freedom to run our own business, be supported by amazing women. And with the obesity epidemic, we get to play a role in lessening that. Like, I don't know, for me, this shit fires me up.
And it's like, I feel like when you sit at Summit too, you get to see all these people from so many different backgrounds, and even just the four of us sharing our stories. It's like, we all come from such different backgrounds, you know, like Chelsea was in healthcare and then waitressing so that she could have more time during the day with her kids. And Geraldine's a hairstylist, and, you know, Steph in the military, like I worked in the corporate world, like all different backgrounds. We had nurses with us, teachers, like everything. And like you have this one common goal. And of course, we all have our own individual goals. Not everyone wants to leave a job, but if you do, you can work towards that. But we all have this common purpose of just like helping. I always say women, you can help men too, but I target mostly women, but helping women, like just empowering them to live healthier lives. Like that's literally our job. Like I was looking around at this event and I'm like, oh my God, this is my job. Like, this is my job. It's crazy. It's insane. It's crazy that like not everyone is doing this with us. You look around.
You know what I learned too? They said, I was reading something too, you know, we all say like we're introverts. Like it's crazy. You wouldn't think I'm an introvert because I feel so connected to you guys. I feel like I could be myself, but they say 90% of network marketers, like social media influencers, are introverts. Yeah. They chose social media because they're introverted, right? They don't want to go out there. For me, like I couldn't go out to like sell cars and talk to people all day. That shit gives me anxiety, but I could talk to you and like get to know you on social media to like where I feel comfortable. And then we become friends. Like 90% of people who do this business are introverts. So
because we even heard easy for us. I'm sorry, Alana. No, go ahead. Because it's so easy. I mean, I'm definitely not an introvert. I'll be doing the cartwheels across the stage when I'm up there. but it's so easy for us to talk about something that's one, changed our life for the better, two, we're passionate about, but three, something that we love.
Yeah.
Like I can talk to the Dalai Lama about this tomorrow, and I'm going to get him to sign up and do Lift More with me because I love this, you know? And I think that's the why, because it's something that's, we know is the most beneficial resource for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even
I was just going to say too, like, you know, even our top coach in the network this year got up on stage, and it's like, we all see her on social media with this giant following, and she's beautiful and has these like perfect pictures. And you just assume that she's like, okay, get me up on that stage. I'm the number one coach. And she asked corporate, like, do I have to get up on stage? Because she's an introvert too. And this was just her way of like finding her calling and her purpose. but it doesn't mean that like she's super comfortable getting up in front of thousands of people. And it's just, it's very relatable. It makes you feel like you're looking at these people who have, you know, reached the top of the company, and they're just like us. They're scared and nervous and started exactly where we did too. So
I think the biggest thing, like if you're sitting here and you're like wondering if you can and can't do this, the one thing that you have to have is you want to have something more. I think that's truly the only thing, whether it's more time, more freedom, more friends, more income, you just want more, because the tools are here from us to show you the rest. And one, who wouldn't want to get more out of living a healthier lifestyle? Who wouldn't want to get more out of being around longer for their kids? I know I did some damage on my body throughout the years, and being able to, you know, shift my addictive behavior into something healthy has been such an outlet for my anxiety, my depression, and all of the things that I feel it's my duty to share this with the rest of the world, because I came from a very, very dark place, like some of these girls, right? And this, I see what this community and these programs have done for me. So why would I not share this with the rest of the world? And those of you who haven't tried the programs or products yet, that's your first start. You know, just look at us and be like, wow, it's really changed their life. Like, let me try it and see for myself. And I guarantee you, once you start there, you won't stop. You'll be like, damn, like they were right. Like now let me level up another way. And that's where the coaching community comes in. So I think definitely starting at least with the programs and products and learning for yourself. And if you're already in the programs and products, like you better start now. You know, we have a huge launch that just came out yesterday. It is an 8-week strength training program. I'm on day 2. I don't know about you, Alana, but I am sore. I am feeling amazing. This is a perfect time to start, because you can leverage this launch. People want to tone up, people want to lose weight, people want to get stronger. And with this program, that's how it's going to happen, you know? So leveraging it now is going to be super beneficial for you and your business.
Yeah, and we have some incredible stuff coming throughout the rest of the year that we just learned about at this summit event too. I won't go into details on all of them, but we literally get handed products and programs from Beachbody to grow our businesses. It's such a blessing. You know, if you have a brick and mortar business, it's like, okay, you have to do all the R&D, like all the research and development and testing things and invest in things. And, you know, any little bit of income that you get is going back into the hole that you dug yourself into to open your business. This is like, you're literally spending $16 a month to run a business. It's completely insane that we get to run a business for $16 a month. I was just going to wrap things up. Should we just talk about next steps? Or I don't know if you guys have other stuff. Okay. So next steps, if you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, this sounds incredible. It's totally normal if you're questioning yourself and you're like, I'm not quite sure I could do what they do. That is normal. That is how probably 98% of us felt when we started. We had no idea what we were doing with social media. We teach you all of that. Like, that's the best part, is like, as the leaders, we put our hand out to you and we take you along with us. Like, that's what we do on our team. We have training calls. We're part of one of the top teams in the entire network. So we have opportunities for you to learn from literally the best of the best in the entire company. We have a business building boot camp that's kicking off on Monday. There's going to be the first call on Monday night. They are all recorded. So if you're like, shoot, I don't know if I can commit to these calls, it's totally fine. If you have the opportunity to be on them live, we always say it's better to be, but that will be kicking off on Monday. And that is with a 4-time top coach in Beachbody. So she's literally going to give you tools, resources, tips, everything she has. And then we have our own mentorship as well. So we'll have an August mentorship where we take you in and we show you step by step, like how to make your first post on social media, how to have conversations with people. Like, you're not just going to join the team and be like, okay, now I don't know what to do. Like, we walk you through step by step for your first at least 4 to 6 to 8 weeks and help you with back and forth conversations, like all of it. It looks a little bit different depending on where you are. Like, if you're already a client, joining looks a little different as opposed to if you're brand new. So definitely reach out to whoever invited you to listen to this recording and we can work with you on next steps. But we do have that business building bootcamp kicking off on Monday. And our new coach mentorship kicking off in August. And like Chelsea mentioned, we have a brand new program that we would love to be able to get you into so that you can start sharing about it and bringing some of your friends and people in with you to start building your income. So my final thought always on these calls is just like, if you're thinking about it, if you think this sounds inspiring and something that you would want to do and you have that drive to want more for whatever it is in your life, like, don't delay on it, because your brain will try to protect you and pull you away from it once you're off this call. But if it's something on this call resonated with you, I would encourage you to just reach out to your coach, go for it, take a leap. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You might get in better shape, lose a few pounds, and make some new friends. Literally is all that might happen if you decide not to do this. So that's my closing remarks. I don't know if anyone has anything else.
I was just gonna say what I've learned to do is 1, 2, 3, go. Like, because my brain has always pulled me back, and like I've talked myself out of so much. Like, my new thing is 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. You're off this call. Like, just do it. And getting started is super, super like freaking affordable. Like,
There's no risk. Like, there's literally no risk in just
zero
coming and
risk.
trying it with us.
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
One of the things that we heard at Summit and was one of the like slapped you in the face type of thing was turn doubt into opportunity or capability. Don't let doubt be doubt. Take that as a learning lesson and just go with it and move. And this is, if you're doubting it, what, like Alana said, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get in shape and healthy and have the steps right there on how to do that. Just share your journey. It's the best thing you could ever do for anybody.
Yeah.
One
Turn down for
person,
what?
that's the only life you have to change is one person, and you've conquered the world.
My thing is just, word of advice is just borrow a belief, because I think that like borrowing the belief from people that have done it before you is like the easiest way to push you forward. Again, like I said, nobody's special. Nobody did anything special. They just did it because they borrowed belief from somebody that did it before them and got themselves to work.
Yeah, literally, if I can do this, honestly, like, you can do this. I'm a hard worker, but I am very shy, very private, very quiet. Like, none of this came naturally to me. If I can do this, you can absolutely do this.
Same here. Like, I'm total opposite. Like, didn't pay attention in school, can't focus for shit, and I can do this. So
There is
Anybody
no like one shape or size fits all. We all have like different bodies, different backgrounds. We look different. Like, that's another incredible thing about Summit is you get to see all these people and you're like, oh, I don't have to have 6-pack abs to be a successful coach. Like, it's just, we all fit in, like anyone can belong here. So we are super pumped to welcome some new women onto our team and finish out the year with. We have some awesome training opportunities for you to jump into. So I highly encourage you, like right now, go and message your coach who invited you to listen to this.
1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, go. And I want to see you guys on a team call, in our message pods, welcomed into the team page, all the things, because you need to be here doing this with us. So
Yeah.
that's all I
Thanks,
got.
ladies.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.